What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear. Today we have another knife sent by my good friend Bad Monkey EDC1. The guy is just amazing. We're going to be taking a look at a Bestech today. Bestech Toucan. Toucan? Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. Toucan. I'm not crazy about the name, okay? But the knife itself, I'm pretty impressed with. This is a budget option from Bestech. Bestech has quite an array of knives in all different price points. And this one was sent over by, like I said, Bad Monkey EDC. Have his Instagram linked down below and right there. The guy has just been amazing to me, supporter of the channel, a viewer for a long time. So shout out, brother. I love you very much. And so he sent me this guy for review. And at first glance, I'm like, this thing looks pretty damn sweet. Okay, it's just a cool looking knife. Has a little bit of a recurve there. And then this, like, I guess, I don't know what you'd really call this. Do they actually say? I don't know if they actually, I mean, it looks kind of like a Tonto, right? Like some of the compound, or not the compound, but the Tontos that you see on, like on the Satori and stuff without the compound. It's got a little bit of recurve and then it goes straight up. The Tonto is kind of like a belly. I don't know. That's what it reminds me of. I dig the blade shape. I'm never that big of a fan of recurves, and that's mainly because I suck at sharpening recurves because I don't have the tools to sharpen recurves. That's really the only reason that I stay away from them. It's not a good one, but that's it. This thing is running on bearings. It has D2 steel G10 handles, and I need to see what this backspacer is. Titanium. It's either titanium or aluminum, but it does not look like aluminum to me, so I'm going to call it titanium. But it does have steel liners, G10, and the overall profile of this thing, I just really like. I think it looks really cool. Get you a closer look at the pocket clip. This is kind of a standard pocket clip for Bestech. It is tip up right hand carry only. Sorry, lefties. But yeah, I've kind of dug it. It is a Kyle size knife. It's not a small guy, as you can see. It has really good ergos, and I didn't think it would. But yeah, you see the little swoops there? Those can always be a little bit on the ergos. But for my hand size, this thing feels really good in the choke back position. And you can choke up on this. It's not the best in the world, but with the flipper tab, you see how they've got basically a really nice sharpening choil, and then it comes back really far. I can actually get my fat sausagey fingers in there to choke up on the knife, and it feels great. It is close to that edge though. So it's one of those things where I don't feel unsafe doing it like this. The way, because it's got enough room, but it is on the edge of that sharpness there. So you got to be careful if you do that. But I found myself holding it in that grip and was cutting with it, and it worked fine. It is kind of a chunky boy. I love the G10, how they did it. As you can kind of see, come on camera, that's a milling on there. It is slightly contoured, and so it fills my hand really, really well. If it was any thinner, I just like thicker. I like them thick, boys. I just like the thicker handles because it fills my big hands out very well, and it just makes for a more comfortable grip. I think for any, there's a reason why fixed blades have thicker handles, right? Because it is more comfortable. Fixed blades are almost always more comfortable than folders because of that reason, I think. I mean, I might be stupid, but that's the way I look at it. So ergonomically, it's great. The jimping on the back is not aggressive at all. Then, of course, if I'm even in the choked back position, my thumb does not go anywhere near the jimping. That's kind of a bummer. So I don't care if it has jimping or not, because I never hold my thumb back here, guys. I don't know why they put jimping back there. What the I have no idea. But holding it in the saber grip feels really, really good. Of course, choked up. It was very, very nice. How's the action? For a $63 knife, it's amazing. Can you feel it? Yes. But this thing not only sounds good, but feels good whenever you deploy it. I mean, I don't have to think about it. I just hit the flipper and it goes. Yes, you can half-ass it and it not go, but in every single time I went to deploy this knife, it fired out like a rocket, and so I like that. The closing action, the lock bar access is pretty doggone good. Never had a problem with that either. As you can see, on bearings, a few little shakes. So very, very smooth. For $63, I'm telling you guys, we are spoiled, okay? Spoiled for budget knives in 2021. I mean, come on. There are so many freaking options, and not just from other manufacturers, but you've got so many options from Bestech. You just got, whoo, got it. You just got to love it. It's really amazing the amount of choices that we have. Now, we got to let everybody know, though, because a lot of people, when they go to buy a knife, if they're not a knife person, they want a good knife, or if they just want a knife, not a good knife, they go to Walmart, and they're getting some China-made knife that sucks. But you've got companies like Bestech, CJRB, Civivi, all those guys. I mean, you've got Kubi, you've got, I mean, you've got, I know I'm forgetting somebody here, Asher knives. All these different knife brands making really good budget options that will kill almost anything you can buy at Walmart, at least the Walmart that I'm at, right? You can see a hole. You can see a hole. So I got excited. Obviously, flippers get a little boring to me. I really would rather be able to do a middle finger flick. But as you can see, it's able to be done. It's just not the easiest. I've really got to think about where I've got my finger in there, and sometimes I'll do that. So the whole deployment, is a bummer for me. However, it does really well with a thumb, which never happens. I'm usually pretty crappy with the thumb deployment and really good with the middle finger flick. But the hole is in a good place for, of course, if I don't have my hand on the blade, the hole's in a good place for, or in the, if you put your hand way up here, that's what's stopping it, is I'm coming down and it's hitting my hand, the flipper tab is. But for the most part, that works pretty well. I just wish that I could do that easier. It's not a deal breaker because I could get used to this, but it's not as intuitive, man. And that's my only gripe. I wish they'd have made this bigger. The hole bigger, elongated, instead of, maybe the whole area there being actual hole instead of the little, I mean, it looks cool. I get that. It looks really cool. You can see you've got a stone washed up there with the belt satin. Really, really dig the blade shape. I mean, it's a recurve and it looks really cool. Of course, D2, you got to take care of it. But I think they really did a good design. Does it actually say, this might be a in-house design from Bestech. And I've got to try more. I've had a few. I'm a huge fan of Joseph Vero products, which Bestech is the OEM for them, and they're killing it, man. I'm telling you, they're killing it. So I'm way more prone to get more Bestechs in my hands because of what I've seen them do with the Vero products. Now, like I said, they've got some more pricier options, but geez, for 63 bucks, I like it. Let's see how it cuts, okay? So it is about 20 thousandths behind the edge. Let's see what it does to some cardboard. Pretty good. I mean, I've felt some that are a little bit less resistance, but this is hardly any resistance. Pretty clean cuts like that. See what it does to a push cut on the paracord. I'm going to put it right in the center of that recurve push cut. That was pretty good. See if I've got enough to do the slicing cut. I always do this to myself. I don't have enough room to hold on to it. Slicing cut, no resistance. How about the tougher stuff, the twisted sisal rope? We're going to go ahead and do the slicing one for this because this is always tougher. So I'm going to put it there, slice. Did not cut all the way through. One more time and it did. Still, oh, no it didn't. Look at that. So it's probably the way I'm doing it. Like if I was putting it right there in the center of that, and maybe it didn't have enough room before it actually slipped off. So that's probably my fault. Let's try it. I don't really have a lot of room here, though. God, I keep doing that. So I'm going to try to do the slicing pattern on this big, huge belly portion. Oh, that worked. So that was probably me. So that came out pretty good. So it slices pretty well. It's not the thinnest behind the edge ever, but the blade geometry I think is fine. I think it'll make for a really good tool and something that looks a little bit different than your average knife that you buy at Walmart, right? I think a lot of people are going to dig this design. The Toucan, I'm just not crazy about the name, but let's go ahead and get some size comparisons, get behind it, look at it a little bit closer because it's got some design elements that are really, really cool. All right, let's see if we can get a closer look. G10 is well done. I've seen better, but, the milling that they do, it definitely has some grip there for where your fingers go. So it's really not bad. Still full steel liners and a really cool titanium pocket clip with a lanyard hole. Now, of course, people are going to be like, why? I wanted to see deep carry. That's fine. I get a lot of people like that. But yes, this worked very well for me to get this in and out of pocket. The pocket clip is not the best looking in the world, but it worked really, really well. There is no hot spots for me in my fat hands on the pocket clip. So I had no problems. There is your logo, Bestech logo. Look at the grinds, man. Really, really nice satin on that blade with the stone wash up here. You have D2 on the other side. The jimping on the flipper tab is nicely done, not sharp, but I didn't find myself sliding off of that flipper tab. The D10 I think is relatively good. I mean, it's not coming out or anything like that. Matter of fact, I like a stronger D10 whenever it is a flipper tab. And of course, if I could just get my finger in there better to do the reverse flick, the access to that would just make this knife a lot more fidgety for me, and I would want to carry it more. There is your really funky looking Bestech B there for the on the pocket, or the pocket clip, on the pivot, which is cool. Of course, you have your regular hardware and all that. So I really like this. And you can get this in quite a few different variations, coated blade, different colors, different color G10 and all that. Here's the box that it comes in. Maybe. Toucan. See, there's your little number there. So, typical budget packaging. Let's put it up against some other knives, shall we? Let's go ahead and put it up against the Spatago PM2. Very similar in overall length to the PM2. It's about 8.375, just a little bit over the as far as length to compared to the PM2. So 8.375 with a 3.5-inch blade, 3.375-inch cutting edge, with a 1 1/4-inch blade width. Blade thickness is about 150 thousandths, so pretty close to the PM2. With, like I said, D2, it is about a handle length of about 4.875, and then you have a handle thickness of 0.61. So, like I said, a little bit thicker this way. Let's see if we can go ahead and compare it to the thickness of the PM2. So as of right now, like if you're watching that, it looks like it is, thicker, but not as, not really ridiculous, but it's back here, because this kind of comes chamfered down. So yeah, I like the thickness. It feels the hand really well. So I am digging that. Handle length about the same. And then let's put it up against the Ontario Rat number 1. Definitely a little bit longer of a knife. Also in D2. Very popular and, very recommendable knife here for the Ontario Rat number 2. If you like a thumb stud action, this is definitely up your alley. But one of my all-time favorite budget knives is the CGRB Felspar. And here it is against the Felspar. So as you can see, a bigger knife than the Felspar. The Felspar is about as small as I like, where I can't really choke up because I don't really feel comfortable choking up on this guy, but still such an ergonomic handle with the contoured G10. I think these are very comparable. The Bestech is just a little bit pricier, but I can say that the action is on these bearings feel just a tad bit better than the action on the CJRB. They both drop fine. It's just that the CJRB feels just a little bit skippier, I guess, as far as the action. Not gritty. It's kind of hard for me to, but it's a little choppier coming down, whereas the Bestech feels just a little bit smoother. But I really dig them both. I think they're excellent choices for budget knives. But you know what? It looks pretty plain, like all your other knives, even though I really dig this guy. I mean, if you want something different, Bestech's option here at the Toucan is pretty good. You know, I think you bust this thing out, people are going to be like, whoa, what kind of knife is that? If they're not knife people, if they're knife people, they might know. But this, you know, this blade grind is kind of funky, the blade shape. I just really like it. Oh, I just wish I could reverse flick that thing better, because I can reverse flick, or barely can reverse flick the CJRB with the thumb stud. So this does make it pretty fidgety for me. I just wish I could do it easier with this guy. But you know what? They don't make knives just for Kyle, correct? Yeah. So anyways, guys, I really think this is a great recommendable option for those looking for a pocket knife that's not going to break the bank. It's going to look cool and different than the other ones that you see your friends carry. So definitely go check it out. I will have a link down below where you can pick this guy up. Guys, stay safe in this crazy world that we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.